Hello. How's it going?
Good. I'm all pumped up for the 80s now after that intro. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's good. We have a very clear directive, I think, today, don't we?
Yes. Yes, we do.
What is
We
our direct?
are we are going to take Bava.social, right? That's the actual URL for it, right?
It is.
And migrate it from what Mastodon calls a source install
Uh-huh.
to a Docker install. So source install just means that you took the source code, downloaded it, and then followed their instructions to completely, I would call it from scratch, set up the server, right? So you've set up
It's true.
Postgres, you set up like Ruby and all of the dependencies for Mastodon and Redis and all of those things manually. And then upgrades are also kind of a manual process. I mean, it's not quite as involved as setting it up from scratch, but it's
I
it's
was
it's a
impressed
few
that
steps.
Mastodon has those manual upgrades for major versions, like from 4.1 to 4.2.
Hmm.
I mean, I did this all on a Debian VPS, like you're saying, all self-installed, and still I did it on 4 different instances, and it upgraded well. But when I did Docker for a Zuracast and PeerTube, it was literally like grab up, so
Yeah.
down up. I was like, that is all. I want that everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing with it too is you also can it's not like there's never any other steps in an upgrade of a Docker based application. I'm speaking generally, not just you know, just not just about Mastodon. But to be honest, it's rare. Like normally, it's just pull containers down up. That's literally. I use this tool called Espanso, which it does. It does text substitution. So if I type a certain word on my keyboard, it will make it into a longer word, right? And I can tell it what things. And I have one where it expands to just the 3 Docker commands I type the most, which is pull down up. And it just does that all in one little command. And it's when you're working with Docker based applications, it's so cool how it can standardize a lot of that stuff. And the nice thing about Mastodon, and I think we found with PeerTube too, PeerTube and Mastodon, I think, are both pretty, I would describe them as complicated application. Like there's a lot going on, there's a lot that they do, but they're both documented well. And it's very rare that you have anything to do, even in those complicated applications, other than pull containers and then restart, basically. So that's what we're trying to do. We're going to do it on Bava Social, which is sort of a test install for you, right?
It is, and we were just commenting in the chat that Espanso sounds like a really Italian application.
I think it's an it's
Espanso.
I think it's I don't know who develops it, but I think that's what they're going for. It's a it's a Federico Terzi. So yeah, it could be an Italian, maybe.
Could be an Italian. It's like
um,
John Smith.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I even laughed when I said it because I've never said it out loud and was like, wow, this is gonna sound awful.
Espanso. I thought you said risponso,
Oh no,
and
no,
then someone
it's
corrected me. It's espanso.
Espanso. Yeah, it's just it's a text substitution tool. So
Cool.
or text expansion, I think, is what those tools are normally called. So
So, can I ask you a question,
mhm.
Taylor? Do we have the technology to do what we're about to do?
Yeah, we do. We
We
do.
have the technology?
Yep. And we've even done something like this before. We've done this with a PeerTube install.
Here too.
Now,
That's it.
I think you and I had 3 streams where we were unsuccessful in a row, and then eventually we figured it out. But that was a good learning experience. And I will say that I have at least looked at the documentation um, on how to migrate Mastodon between servers. They have really good documentation on that, but it's not from going from source to Docker. But we're going
Yeah.
to be able to lean on that quite a bit, and that will be super helpful. So I am gonna share my screen. Yeah, that's looking good, I think. We'll maybe pump the text up a little bit here. So this is your Bava Social server, right? And this, yeah, as you said, it's a Debian install.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna
You
actually.
can show all my credentials. I don't care. So just so you know, we don't have to worry on this stream.
Yeah, well, and
Will happen. Just trigger warning.
one of the cool
Only
things.
sharing credentials.
One of the cool things about some of this stuff is, even database credentials in the way we're going to do things, a little less risky because a lot of those ports aren't even open for people to connect to the database. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's not something you want to do if you can avoid it. But it's a test install today, so we don't
it is.
much.
I do put no stock by this instance. It's an experimental instance for me.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spin up a new Mastodon. So we're gonna go to the marketplace.
Are we going to feature your one-click install Mastodon tool right now?
Indeed, we will.
OMG.
So I'm going to put in the custom domain here of bava.social. Now, this probably isn't strictly necessary because we're going to migrate the database over anyway. And so the database that's here is going to be overwritten, but I'm going to do that. And we'll give it a Bava social Docker, maybe environment name. You want this in the EU, close to home? Cool.
Finding my data in the EU. GDPR, man.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of critical data here that we can't escape, let escape the EU. So, yeah, and a reminder for folks, the reason this checkbox, this is a little bit different than most other installers, but the reason this is even here is when you set up a Mastodon server, you ahead of time tell it what domain it's going to be at during the install process normally, and you're not supposed to change the domain name if you can help it. If you do change the domain name of a Mastodon instance, I believe it's like you're searching and replacing in the database, and because of the way Fediverse stuff works, they're like, we don't support it and don't do it. So I don't know that it can't work, but anyway, that's why this is here. Like I said, this is probably not much of a factor because we're going to be dumping the database of your old one and restoring it here anyway, but let's just do that. So we're going to let this install. This will take a few minutes. So while we're doing that, we're going to get some things ready from the old server.
I mean, it's not going to take the hour and a half it usually took me to install my Debian instance of Mastodon.
No, Mastodon one-click installer should take like 4 or 5 minutes.
4 minutes. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? 4 minutes. In 4 quick minutes, you can have your own Mastodon.
So this is the migrating to a new machine guide they have. It's really nice. This is super helpful. We don't need all of this. We really just need like, hey, what files do we need to move, and how do we dump the database properly? So they recommend moving the live public system directory, and they later on say, here's how you dump the database. I did some ahead of time looking at this, and the live public system directory is one of the mapped directories in my installer. So I have it mapped to an easy to find folder, basically. So that'll be pretty easy to move. And what that really is it's mostly just image attachments. So they even mention that if you're using S3, you don't even need to do that. So that's kind of cool. You're not for this one, I don't think, right? But
no, I don't think. Hold on, let me check. I think I'm only using it for Reclaim and for DS106, but not for this one. No.
And I suppose I could look too. Public.
Yeah, we're getting into the innards of the Mastodon, like that.
Delve in
to the env file, the old env file. Yeah. It was the env file in the library with the malware.
Live public system, huh? I wonder if you've never uploaded an image here.
That's possible, actually.
Yeah, because you're not using it, or whoops, not that.
It's just my blog. Remember, it's the one I'm trying to do a little feed redirection with.
There is one image, so
there is.
Okay, so I'll have to look at that. Maybe
this is on the latest version, 4.2.0. So not latest, but it is upgraded to 4.2. Yeah, there it is. We're in.
It's not a system directory. So then contains user uploaded images and videos. If you're using S3.
Well, let me see before I send you down this goose chase if I am pushing
Sure.
it off to DigitalOcean or S3. I mean, I've been playing with the offloading media. It's like my new thing when it doesn't go terribly wrong. And
oh, you totally are. Look, so the image URL of this GIF is s3.amazonaws.com/bavasocial.
it's on AWS. Huh?
Yeah.
I
So
wonder
think,
though if it's because it's coming from my blog, everything's AWS, but no, it's not. There it is.
yeah. So there must be a bucket called Bavasocial.
I'm
So
looking now.
yeah, so we won't have to do that. That's really cool. We won't actually have any files to move. We will have to look at your environment file and grab stuff out of there and populate it into the environment file that I use in the installer. But yeah, that's not going to be too bad. So then what we really need to do is dump the database first. So I am going to
Who dumped the database? Who dumped the database? Who?
and this is okay. Here we go. So sorry, and this is the Mastodon user. So
that's going to be my strategy. While you're digging in, I'll be like the background noise music.
So the nice thing that here is, I mean, sounds good, you know. They say run this command as the Mastodon user to dump the database. We may need a password here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I found it. It's at Bavasocial. You're right. I did find it. I did not know that I had, and I only uploaded that one image of Cartman.
It's the world's loneliest S3 bucket. It's just one image.
Yeah, it's like a small video GIF of Cartman saying, "God, I hope this works." That's it.
So it looks like that was very simple. So that's the database dump. I'm actually just going to download that. It's only 2 megabytes anyway, because, you know, pretty small instance. But if you're doing this for a larger instance, it will be a larger, you know, it'll be a larger database dump. What I'm going to do actually is start. We're going to go.
So the idea, while Taylor does this, is we're going to do this here on Bavasocial, and once we prove it works, we're going to try and do it on Reclaim's Mastodon, and then eventually DS106. I guess maybe DS106 then Reclaim would be the proper order of professionality. But regardless, we have 3 of these Mastodon instances at least that we want to Dockerize.
Yeah, I'm going to start making notes here about what we've done here and when. Oh,
are you using HedgeDoc?
I am using HedgeDoc, yes.
Did you think the carpet pissers did this?
So yeah, I'm using HedgeDoc here. So we'll use that as a spot for what we've done step by step. I guess step by step is first, you know, install a new Mastodon server using the. All right. And we are mostly referencing this guide. Cool. Okay, so after this, we're going to want to restore that database onto the new server, which is ready. So now it's not going to load yet because we don't have the domain map to it. So what I'm going to actually do is go in my host file. I'm not sharing my whole screen, so you won't actually see this, but I'm pointing my host file to the new server's IP, which is 162.19192.1.38. So let me do that off screen really quick.
So it's happening.
Yeah.
Can we put up the "It's Happening" GIF now? Can we ask our audience out there?
Yeah.
Our lovely audience. Do you have an "It's Happening" GIF for us?
Something. Please put it in the chat or Discord. Yeah. So, oh yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna complain.
Security.
There's not going to be a cert because of the way we've done this.
Call Noah.
And I force SSL. Well,
Do it in
um,
Safari. Safari like gives you a built-in like SSL certificate. It's beautiful.
oh,
It's the only reason
okay.
I use Safari anymore. So it might work for you in Safari.
Okay, I'll try that.
Whereas
I'm
like
not sharing my
Chrome
Safari
is
window
like, you
just yet.
can't even do it. You can't even like, not even. It's like, who are you, Chrome? I gotta test this stuff. Who are you
I
to
can
me?
visit the website. Yeah, it looks like
Oh, did
okay.
Jim
Now
Broom just give you a tip?
we
Quick
are
tip?
getting an internal error because of again because of the cert thing. So we're gonna go on faith for the moment, and then later we'll have to point a domain at it. So that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the file system of the Dockerized one here,
Yeah.
and we'll just go to the root Mastodon folder. Which is where pretty much everything is for the Dockerized install that we have. And we're going to upload that database dump that I downloaded.
So we're gonna upload it right to that Mastodon folder.
Yep.
And is it zipped, or it didn't even have to be because it was so
Didn't even
small?
need to be. It's only 2 megabytes in this case. But yeah, normally you probably need to zip it first.
Okay.
If it's big enough, you need to zip it.
I'm very interested to see how big the databases for DS106 and Reclaim will be.
You know, Postgres is its database dumps are, you know, similarly just text files, just like that's how that works, right? But it's a little bit different too. I wonder, I'm really curious about like if you had a similar size database and each side, would the dump be the same? I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess it's all just SQL, so probably. But so a couple things here. What's going on? One, my Mastodon installer does not, of course it already had, you already have a database here, it's just empty, right? Or mostly empty.
Sure.
We need to replace it. Now, one kind of happy accident is that we actually don't even need to drop the old database necessarily. We can do that later, but the Mastodon database from the source install is called Mastodon underscore production. But what I called it in my installer is just Mastodon. So they have different names, basically. So we don't even have to overwrite the old one, which is kind of nice, especially while we're messing with things. So what we're going to do is import it. We'll basically be able to use this command as is, but we have to do that from inside the database Docker container, right? So what we're going to do is get a terminal first. And I'm going to look at the Docker compose file here. And actually, no, I won't need to do that. So I'm going to do a go to the right folder first, I guess, root Mastodon. I'm going to do a Docker PS. These are all the running containers. So we can see we've got a container called Postgres. We need to get that database dump inside of the container so we can work with it. So we can do that pretty easily. Docker has a CP command that lets you move files in and out of containers. So we're going to do docker cp. This is a backup.dump. And then it's kind of like rsyncs structure where you give it the name of a container and then a colon and then the path of where you want to put the file. So we'll just put it at the root of the container. That's fine. Right, copied one file over. That's cool. Now we need to get inside the Postgres container to restore it. So this is where we're going to use a docker exec command, docker exec it, which will give us an interactive terminal. Postgres is the name of the container, and then bash is the command we're running. That's the shell. So now we're inside of the container, the database container. If I go to the root of the file system here, there's our file that we just copied in. And now we can grab this command, and I'm going to actually play with this a little bit and make it one line. Hold on. Let me do this one thing at a time. Okay, copy file into DB container.
It's cool to see you documenting as you go.
I just won't remember. I'm always terrified I'll skip a step, you know, if I don't do this. And I could watch the whole stream back. I suppose that would also work, but it's just easier, I think. So
Yeah, it's
Docker
cool.
CP. And to be fair, I do have some notes off screen from what I was looking at before the stream. So some of this I'm just looking at over there too.
Nice. Document,
File.
document, document. Component, Tom, you're right. Thank you, all you stream watchers. We really appreciate it. I know it might not see it, but we have a follow, notify, and like and subscribe. I would really like you all to smash that follow and like and subscribe button if you're at reclaim.tv. We work purely on word of mouth, and we are a low budget B movie organization.
This
So
is
please
this is
help us help you.
This is community access TV level or so all right, so this command should, I think, work. I'm thinking here. Yeah, because we're specifying the right user and everything. So let's see. No connection. Fatal. Database master. Oh, the database is, I didn't make the database yet. So we have to make the database first. Even say that.
I thought this stream was over after that.
Oh,
I thought it was like,
we're just gonna give up.
We're just
First
gonna
problem.
go, and we're gonna, we tried to ring the bell. We tried to get our community wrapped up, and here's the database.
One thing we're gonna have to change is in this one is we do have to specify use the Mastodon. That's -u Mastodon. All right, there we go. So let me change that too.
We're all emojis here, Amanda, so you know.
All right.
Captain Emoji.
Now we're going to restore. Okay, so that theoretically worked.
Error.
Now, theoretically, we have moved everything we need to from the database. We've moved all of the files. What we need to do is look at the environment stuff. So
this is going swimmingly.
Yeah, well, we haven't really tested anything yet, but yeah.
Channel little Chris here and knock on wood.
Yeah, here's the domain. Let's put your email in there. Single user mode false. That's all fine.
Now, Elated Nuth is asking, and what a name, Elated Nuth. I love that. Shouldn't the database already exist from the one-click install? So do we have to drop one?
Yes. So the database does already exist from the one-click install. It's on a different name, though. It's the database name and the one-click install is just Mastodon. So I was able to create a totally new database and import into there, and we're going to switch and tell Mastodon, use this new one, and then we'll drop the old one later.
So we're going to point it first successfully, and then we'll drop the old one.
And to be honest, the old one is not going to hurt anything existing there. There's almost no data in it because it's from a fresh install. We could just leave it there, but we'll probably delete it.
Is that best practice, though?
It's not. Yeah, you should delete it. So here's where we get into the database stuff. So we got database host, user, and name. The name is what we have to change. That's going to be Mastodon production because that's what the database we just restored is called. So
gotcha.
We're also going to have to fill out other things in here. Like we'll have to go and look at your
SMTP settings.
Yeah, we'll have to copy some of that over. I'm thinking it may make sense to get the S3 stuff right over.
Do you want me to do that from behind? I'll do that from behind.
Let's not do the SMTP stuff from behind or on screen because that's got mailgun.
No, I'll do it all. I'll do it all on my side, so you don't have to show any of it.
So that we'll skip doing on the stream, but we should be able to, as of right now, restart. I guess I should drop the database. I don't even know how to drop Postgres databases, to be perfectly honest with you. Drop a Postgres database. So we're gonna do some live learning.
Online learning, mobile learning. So I don't have access to this environment, do I?
Oh yeah, I gotta share it with you.
Okay.
Or
You don't have to worry about that too much. If you want me to vamp, I would love to vamp a little while you
well,
do
it's
that.
it's easy enough to share it with
Okay,
you.
good, good. You could just let me vamp though.
I can sure go for it.
What is that? What the right word for it? Vamping? Is that what it is, or is it
Um,
glamping? Am I glamping right now?
that's you know, if you've got a trailer and like electricity, right? So
Oh, that's right.
camping,
That's
yeah.
glamping.
At least I'll say from my experience as a musician, we call that vamping when we're looping a few bars of music, right? So,
Okay, so yeah,
um,
I'm vamping. Okay, I'm done. That was good vamping, right?
yeah, it's
You didn't
good.
even know I was vamping when I was vamping
The best vamping you never notice. um,
until I
so
feel
anyway, we
compelled to point
are
it out.
how to drop it? Yeah,
Oh
here,
my
okay.
god,
Drop
I got
DB.
the.
Oh, I can literally, is that seems too easy.
Beware.
Okay. Drop DB. Database name. Probably have to say I want the Mastodon user again. And then
Don't
the
copy
database
that
name.
floppy. Bava Social Dockerized. He's been Dockerized.
Oh, it's still running right now. It's still using that database, so we can't drop it yet.
Gotcha.
So let's we'll restart things. This is what I was talking about with the Sponso, by the way. one little bam, up, down, up logs. So that's one of the ones I have, except I'm not in the right folder. So
So let me ask you another question. How do you feel about scale of 1 to 10 sharing that environment with jimgroom@gmail.com? 10 being really good.
I think 7 out of 10, really good.
Why?
7 out of 10. It's like my highest thing on my scale, right?
It's true. I don't understand that scale.
Yeah. Do you want me to remove it from your
No,
reclaim one?
no, it's fine. I can have it on both.
Okay.
But I'm managing this in my other account. I have like 3 Reclaim Cloud accounts. Don't ask.
Are you a
I have
fan?
problems. Yeah, it's more of a problem. I try and keep my personal stuff separate from all my Reclaim stuff when it comes to hosting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard though.
Owning a hosting company.
That's why I have the hosting company to manage my stuff.
Okay, so we've restarted here. It looks like Mastodon is genuinely fine with the new database. So let me retrace my steps a little bit. We're going to go back into the container and drop the database.
Right, and I'm going to get that stuff over now. I'm working on it now.
Didn't copy it. Amazing. And we're going to do drop. Was it drop underscore DB? Nope. No underscore. Drop DB.
I don't remember at all.
New Mastodon. So this is saying use the Mastodon user, and then the last argument is the name of the database we want to drop. There we go. We've dropped it. So let me make some notes there. Exit out of Postgres container.
Now, in my environmental file, in my environment files, just how much do I need to change? Just the mail and the S3 stuff?
That's all that my yeah, I'm pretty sure. So technically there are a whole host of things that can be configured in Mastodon from that file. Most of them are not necessary for the Docker base install. Technically. So what I'm saying is I think all we'll need is your S3 and Mailgun stuff. But it's possible that there are some other things we'll have to dig out of that file later if stuff isn't working.
Technically. So,
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Exit a Postgres container. We're going to restart Mastodon. Go back into the Postgres container. and drop the DB.
Dockerized. You've been Dockerized.
Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm gonna do that. And it was drop DB u Mastodon. Sweet. Okay, so
I have one question for you before you continue.
yeah.
Is the Mastodon instance in the container in root Mastodon public system, or is it just root Mastodon? Like, where is the environmental files for
It's
that?
just root Mastodon.
Root
And then the
Mastodon.
environmental file is just .env. So on yours it's probably env-production. On the Docker one, I try to do all mine the same. It's just gonna be .env.
So can you open that file? Because I can't. You can't either. You can. I can too. I just saw it. Never mind. Forget it.
It just took a bit.
Jesus
Just checking.
Exactly. Just testing. All right. So let's see. All right. And with that, I have the mail info in there and the S3 info in there.
Yeah, cool. So a couple comments and there. If you updated it, check the release. Yeah, these should be running the same version of Mastodon. So Jim just updated the latest version, and this was always going to deploy the latest version. And then yeah, mail credentials in a separate .env file is a good idea, depending on your separation of who's looking at what. On a stream, yeah, it could be really fraught. We like to keep them in one file because I think for the purposes of a one-click installer, it's nice to tell someone all of the settings for your Mastodon are right here. So that's why it's set up that way. But yeah, if we were streaming about this instance a lot, we'd probably separate it out to someplace else. That's can be a good practice. So what we need to do now is point the domain.
I can do that. I have the technology.
You can point the domain. The IP address is, well, I'll give it to you in a second.
Thank you. I am ready for you.
Okay, 162.
I lied. I'm almost ready for you. I didn't think I'd be that fast. Damn. Okay.
Me neither, and I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop on this being really difficult.
Okay, I'm ready for you now. I'm truly ready for you.
162 dot 19 dot 192 dot 38.
Can I read that back to you?
Yep.
162.19.192.38. Now, what's your expiration date?
My expiration date?
Yeah. For the card.
Hopefully I never know.
Card information. No. Yeah. Not that one.
Oh, okay. So once you do that, we'll give it a beat. I've already pointed my host file at this. The main thing, the way this is kind of weird, but the way this is set up is with a automatic. We're using a container called Acme Companion to automatically issue Let's Encrypt certs. And if we don't have one, because we force HTTPS, it's just not going to load properly. So for a lot of reasons, your Safari suggestion is actually a good one, but it doesn't load for another reason beyond that, basically. So what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to restart it here, watch it, hopefully issue a cert, and then we'll see if it works. And if it doesn't work, we may need to do some more exploring of a better way to do this without running into, like, I'm worried we're going to run into like Let's Encrypt rate limiting, you know?
Sure.
But
let's see.
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
Docker compose up to down and then up.
And then logs.
And then logs. And Let's Encrypt seems to be doing its thing, trying to at least. Starting Sidekick. Oh my gosh, so much happening.
There's a lot, yeah. Mastodon itself is pretty chatty too, in the Docker logs. Although it looks like we may be having a problem. Maybe not. let me just quit this for a second. Only able to parse up to Mastodon. Cannot parse Mastodon notifications.
Is that my notification? Is that my field that I put in the environment?
Mail address list cannot parse Mastodon notifications at baba.social. Only able to
Yeah,
parse
it's interesting.
We'll have to look at that.
Should I get rid of it?
Not just yet.
Okay.
So what I want to do is scroll. I don't know how much scroll back I have in this terminal. Oh, I do have enough. It did issue a cert, so that's good news. So let's see what we got here.
Oh
so
my God.
It's loading. Something's broken, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is good so far. Nice. So what we need to do, let's we may need to look at that mail config.
Okay, let's do it. Jump in. I can always change. I'm not worried about the password.
Yeah,
seriously.
we can.
I can change all that up right away. So there's that, and then there's a Mastodon notification, Bob.
Oh, I think this might need to be just a address and not a.
Okay.
Although I'm assuming you copied that from your old one, though. So
I did. So my old one might have had the same problem. Who knows?
Maybe something about the way we've done this here. It's a little bit pickier. Of course, I need to go to the right folder.
Yes. Elated was sorry. I know we're giving you stress, but
I know this is a completely temporary.
I just changed those credentials. It's done. Mailgun will never be the same again.
Yeah, it's okay. There's a few credentials in there, and they're all disposable, and they have nothing attached to them in terms of actual data. So, if you want to get access to a Cartman GIF,
yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Holy hat, look at that.
So that's something. Now the problem is we don't have any users, so maybe my database restore didn't work. Baba.social is part of the decentralized phone. Yeah, okay. Can you try logging in?
Sure.
You'll probably have to point your host file too.
All right, let's see. Boom. No, I can. It's loading for me as it is.
Oh, okay.
Baba Social. Yeah, it's working when I log in.
Okay, so when you log in, you see posts and stuff?
I do.
Oh.
Now I don't know if that's cached because the caching in Mastodon is pretty intense.
Yeah, good point. Or maybe I'm cached somehow.
But if you So let me show you what I see.
Well, your old server's still up. Keep in mind, we didn't.
Let me show you. Let me just show you something where I think this is it. So I'm going to share my screen quickly and steal this. So watch this. So this is right. Oh, you would say, oh, this is just Jim's. I'm sorry.
Oops, sorry.
That's fine. This is just Jim's regular Baba social.home. But the thing is I never updated this to 4.2.1.
Oh, so it's not on the same version. Okay.
So it's actually an updated version, and all of my stuff is there.
Okay.
This is what it looks like.
Let's do a double check. I'm going to shut down your old server. Right?
Yeah, do it.
No reason not to. Right. Okay, it stopped.
Yeah. Let's see if this stopped. This didn't stop.
Sweet.
This is loading, and it's working. Because the thing about this instance is it doesn't even really follow my blog post. There's a place I could find that on here, but it's just me as a test space. But through this, it's connected directly to my Baba Tuesdays blog. So anytime I blog, this account basically posts it to Mastodon.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so cool. I mean, I will say when I go directly here, I'm going to put my screen up now for a sec. When I go directly to your account, it's there. So yeah.
And look, it's on 4.2.1. That's the key.
Okay.
Because it was a very minor upgrade.
It's working. It looks like you'd have to go in and set and maybe this was never set, to be honest, but you have to set the like administrator that's in the actual web interface settings. You
Yeah.
can set it there. We can also man. Okay, so from here in the future, when you want to update Mastodon, now we don't have a literal one button updater like we do for Ghost and Owncast and soon to be Hedgedoc and a few other things. But and that's just because I don't think anyone who's like hosting a Mastodon server they should look at the documentation from time to time to make sure there aren't database migrations to perform, things like that. But we do have some in our help center here. We've got, hey, here's how you install it. Cool. We've already done that part. But you can set up accounts. You already have one in this case. So that's good too, I suppose. And here's how you update it. So we say, check out the Mastodon GitHub page. Look for any particular instructions if they have any upgrade notes for Docker installs. And then you're going to basically just do pull down up. That's it. So, yeah.
So can I ask you, and I'm going to pause it. Can you go to that site and refresh and see if the posts that I put up there show?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me put that back.
I think you got to go into like it's home.
Oh, yeah.
Or Reverend, there it is.
Joe.
So I just did those. Now another thing, I'm going to share my screen now. So I'm going to put this up here. So this is, I believe, my screen, and these are things I just posted. So it's definitely working. The one thing I'd be interested in getting your opinion on is, so when I go behind to the profile or preferences, whatever, I do have a spot where I can do administration, and your object stories is misconfigured. So I'm going to have to look at that and fix that. You haven't defined any server rules, so I'm going to have to set up rules, but I don't have anyone else on the server. So the thing is it says no new users, no active users, no interaction. So I don't know if it even sees me as a user or not, but I can post and log in.
Yeah, go to can you go to moderation right above administration? And then accounts?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you're in there.
Look at you. And I think this is Baba. I think this is the Baba post. But it's interesting because, even though this pushes out my blog to this, nothing actually comes on it except for this. There's no posts on bava.social where you see my actual blog posts, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how you have that set up. Are you using like some service to push out there, or are you just trying to do like ActivityPub plugin? Because that doesn't even require its own Mastodon instance, right? What that means is you can just follow your WordPress site from Mastodon or any other Fediverse.
So that's what I'm doing, and I'm connecting it with this site. So it kind of identifies with this user, but it could be in my main blog too. I should maybe connect it with my DS106 account. So that's all part of this experiment, though. But that's amazing. It worked.
Yeah, I think there's some, some of the weirdness we're seeing on like the I said again, the administrator by and stuff like that. That's just a setting you can set. I don't know. I think this is
so elated news. You're saying that you think the database is a little bit wonky. Can you elaborate? Where do you maybe see that things are a little bit strange here?
The one thing that was, I'll say, while he's getting back to us here, the one thing that I thought was weird is that the homepage wasn't showing anything, but I think that's due to a Redis cache, because the timeline on Mastodon uses Redis heavily, and we didn't actually properly like repopulate the timeline or anything like that. Mastodon will do it on its own, but I think that is, if I go to live feeds here, or maybe no, you know what? I'm probably just not thinking of how to use this right. The newest version has this explore tab and live feeds, and I wasn't looking at live feeds before, I think. So Yeah, I
And
think we're pretty
once
good
you
here.
showed me the user and accounts, it looks fine. But definitely let us know if you see anything that's potentially an issue. But it's working.
And this is one of those things too where, so now that we basically know the procedure, doing this on reclaim.rocks is, we there's some things I would do um that we would do differently
Differently.
just to make sure, right? Obviously, I wouldn't immediately. Well, I was gonna say I wouldn't immediately delete the old server, but I haven't deleted your old one yet. So, at any point we could turn that one back on and point the DNS back. But, um, this is
It was good.
pretty straightforward.
3 minutes
Mastodon's.
in to the end, and we have done. We could do that wonky or not.
Yep. I've got some basic documentation in HedgeDoc I can share with you, and yeah, we're good. Actually, you know what I should do is I should just take this markdown file and paste it and make it a blog post.
Truly.
That's probably what I should do. But yeah, so I think that's going to be the most of it. If we needed to, for instance, move images, like Reclaim Rocks is also on S3, I think.
It is definitely. It's on DigitalOcean.
Or DigitalOcean Spaces, but
Spaces.
a similar S3 compatible service.
Yeah.
If we did need to move images, for one, that I think all of your Mastodon things are using object storage for images, so that's really cool. We don't even have to move those. But if we did, I would do that via rsync, right? So I would rsync from one container to another, and the nice thing is because it's mapped to the Docker one, it's mapped to a folder in the file system. You don't have to like copy things into the container. That's just right there. The worst we'd have to do is make sure permissions are good, although it shouldn't actually matter in this case. So yeah, so that would be the only additional step. But we tend to heavily suggest people use S3 storage for Mastodon servers anyway. So I think a lot of people will be going that route if they're doing this. And
this was amazing, Taylor.
Super clean.
You streamed it. You nailed it. We're good. I can do the other ones as Dockerized. We'll go back and see if there's any. There also could be some caching issues working against with the database, but like, this is brilliant. I have to jump to another call, but I just wanted to say that this was a great stream. Thank you, everybody, for sitting in and playing around. And remember that Reclaim's streams are for life. I stole that from some other organization,
Yeah, well, see everybody next time.
Bye-bye.